I had a dream that someday I would build the finest organization in professional sports. Just win, play hard, try not to make mistakes, but don't worry about mistakes because there's only one thing that counts. Just win.
And welcome back to Sideline to Sideline. I'm your host, Raider Will, and I am here with my boy, Douglas Sheffield, a.k.a. Raider Homer. How are you today, my brother?
I'm doing well, brother. I hope you are as well. And what's up, Raider Nation? I hope you're doing well also. Be sure to follow me, Raider Homer, at Homer Raider on X and at Raider Homer on Facebook and IG. And don't forget to check us out on Section 105 Media Network on Facebook. And be sure to follow Will at SB Radio Podcast on X and at Silver and Black Radio Podcast on IG and YouTube. Lots to talk about this week, Raider Nation, so stay tuned.
Yes, sir. Hey, and today, Raider Nation, what we got for you guys today is a scrumdiddlyumptious episode put to you by my boy, Douglas Sheffield. We're going to catch you guys up with what's going on in OTAs. We're going to talk a little bit about the special teams rules that we got going on. And we are going to give back and give you guys some great memories of the Raiders legends and a record that we know now will never be broken by a friend of the show, baby. So, hey, Raider Nation, lock in, buckle up. Let's get ready to ride, baby, as you guys get this behind-the-scenes look of Raider Nation, baby. Let's go, Raiders! And all right, Raider Nation, like we said, we're going to catch you guys up in OTAs. Today, we're going to start out, guys, with talking about what Coach AP thinks is going to be a successful first year. What he's looking at is, what is success? Guys, we've talked about it. It's consistency. It's brotherhood. It's effort. And it's all about doing things the Raider way.
So I know you're usually big on staying in the moment, but every team has goals, obviously, going into every season. What would you quantify as success this year for the Raiders?
That's a really good question. Being consistent, don't want to go through the roller coaster of the season. We're going to lose games, right? I would love for us to go undefeated. That'll be a goal. There's only been one team ever to do it. It's hard to do, but just be a consistent team. Win, lose, or draw. That what you see with the effort, the discipline, the purpose, the all out, the brotherhood and doing it the Raider way. I hope we can do that. Sometimes the ball's not going to bounce our way and the clock's going to hit zero and we're not winning. We didn't come out victorious, but more importantly, just the way we play. Did it sound right? Did it look right? If we can do that, I'll be pleased. But obviously there's goals higher than that we really want to reach.
Right there, Raider Nation. Does it sound right? Does it look right? That's key, right? It has to look right. We're going to hear about that later on in the episode. It has to pass the eye test, right? You as a fan know if the team is good or not, right? Whether you want to sit there and cheer for the team or not, right? You know if it passes the eye test. Being consistent, right, throughout the organization is what this team needs in order to get back to the top. And if AP understands that from day one, then that's a good sign for this team that we are going to be consistent, disciplined, and put in effort, right? Understanding that we're not going to win every single game, but we're definitely not going to go 6-11.
That's absolutely right, Doug. You hit a lot of key points there, man. And hey, if you guys have been listening to the show, we've talked about it from the beginning of the season. Consistency, effort, doing things the Raider way is the way that we're going to get forward, and it's the way that AP is teaching. And if you guys have been listening to his messages from the beginning of the season, it's been the same thing, man. We are going to get there through hard work, through effort, and through doing things the Raider way. And now, let's get into how Aiden O'Connell has been taking in practice and learning things through reps for Luke Getsy's offense.
You guys have to learn a new offense, obviously, at OTAs. Would you kind of describe where you are in terms of the process of continuing to learn and kind of get familiar with that offense?
Yeah, OTAs they threw a lot at us offensively, and so obviously everything was new, and it was good to have the summer to kind of go back over things and reapproach them, and to get to see things for the second, third time is super helpful compared to the first time, and so I think that's going to be helpful going into this camp.
So you heard him. He had to go back and after OTAs and put his head in the book, and he did that willingly, right? So That's a good sign for Aiden O'Connell, man. He's a young quarterback. We drafted him. We need him to excel in this league. We need him to be able to come in consistently and help us win consistently. And I believe there's a chance that he will. We're just going to see how all this develops as QB competition. But look, I have faith in Aiden O'Connell. The team has faith in Aiden O'Connell. He's obviously studying and coming back prepared. And it is his job to lose. So going into week 2, man, I'm going to be excited. I know some of the reports were coming out that the offense wasn't doing too good and the red zone and things. And that's a good sign for our defense, right? But also, Raider Nation, keep a level head, right? It's training camp. The offense is always behind the defense, and they're getting together and they're learning a new offense. But he's comfortable with it. He's been studying, so I expect Aiden O'Connell to come out knowing what to do this preseason.
Doug, I love that. I mean, you just hit the nail on the head. Guys, right now, you can't get too overly excited about how well the defense is playing. Defense is always ahead of the offense at this time. I'll be like, guys are going to struggle, guys are going to learn. And there's something that he keeps saying. Hey, I keep learning through repetitions, through experience. And that's something that Gardner Minshew already has underneath his belt. So he's able to look at playbooks from before and have those same concepts that are transferring over into Luke Getzey's playbook. So let's see how Gardner Minshew is doing with the Raiders O.
Sure, playbooks. What's it been like absorbing Luke Getzey's?
Yeah, so I mean, kind of at this point, you've seen all the concepts. Everybody just has different names for it. So, it's a little bit of memorization there, but a lot of it translates, and being able to kind of use things, and things are taught different ways, and just having a lot of perspective at it really helps. And it's fun to take that into this offense where you have a lot of tools to be successful.
We've talked about the talent on this offense for a while now, a couple episodes. You know what? And I think Gardner Minshew is the quarterback that can get the talent to excel and achieve and have success on the field. You heard him. He said it right there. The concepts are the same. It's just different verbiage, basically, right? Yeah, but you know what? His experience as a veteran, which we've talked about, can help this team, even if he doesn't win the starting job. They're not competing necessarily against each other, right? They've said that they're competing against themselves and helping each other so that the team gets better. So even if Gardner Minshew doesn't win the starting job, which I think he will be able to help Aiden O'Connell understand that playbook quicker and help the offense get better from the bench over the season. But in a biased way, I'm going for Gardner Minshew. So I'll just leave it there.
You know what? I love the fact that you're standing by your guy. Guys, you guys were on the previous episode. I told them, I'm like, hey, Doug, I know that you love him. I know that you're going to ride with him. And that's the type of guy he is. Now, what I'm looking at, guys, is as a coach, when you talk about experience and concepts and stuff like that, he's absolutely correct. And we all teach it a little bit different. Every coach has a thing that they like in a way that they like it executed. And that's what's going to be key. And I think a lot of those things, when you absorb an offense, you have to remember, hey, while I know the concept, it might have a little bit of a different wrinkle. So that's an adjustment that he'll have to make. Now, Doug, you hit the nail on the head, man. We have an offense that is loaded on offense. It's really about being the point guard and being able to distribute to those guys. But let's talk about the main star that we have on offense. Devontae Adams comes in and he's saying, hey, guys, you know what? He's being questioned by Uncle Hondo about the repetitions of, hey, having 2 quarterbacks on right now. And he says, you know what, guys? It doesn't matter if I have 2 quarterbacks right now. The guy that comes out is going to make it happen. He's paying attention to detail. He's locked in. He's in the quarterback's locker room. He's helping out develop both Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell.
Quarterback competition you were talking about earlier. Antonio said that he's really got no timeline. It'll happen when it happens. It'll present itself. Mm-hmm. As you're out there, what are the benefits and kind of the drawbacks of not knowing really who the starter is going to be? And I know it's first day of camp, but
yeah, I mean, I suppose there's pros and cons, but at the end of the day, we get enough reps with both guys, and we're all communicating. When I'm talking to a quarterback in the meeting room, it's not my guy. It's not just, I'm not just speaking to Aiden, or I'm not just speaking to Gardner. I'm speaking to whoever it's going to be, and we have really open conversations, and we all get reps with all the quarterbacks. So obviously Aiden's running with the ones right now, but guys are getting enough opportunities to where they'll get a solid evaluation, and I'm definitely watching at all times, seeing everything and learning how the ball comes out with Gardner versus Aiden, and all those, all the quarterbacks in every position. I got my antennas up just for everything. So not exactly sure what the cons are. Obviously, not having as many reps maybe with Gardner, but just the conversations that we have, and that's kind of how Aaron and I used to work. It wasn't just about the reps that we had in practice, but it was about the communication, the film that we watched together, and just going over timing and different things like that are equally as important as getting those on the field reps.
I feel like Devontae Adams is going to be the key to this offense. Yes, the quarterback is the point guard, but Devontae Adams, man, his leadership that we've been talking about for the last couple of episodes is really going to show up right here. You heard him. He's able to talk to guys without the reps, right? Teach them what to do in the offense or what would work best according to his conversations with Aaron Rodgers, man. Being able to teach these guys what it's supposed to look like, what it's supposed to sound like and feel like, man, is going to help whatever quarterback wins the starting job achieve early and fast and often, I believe, right? You heard Coach AP in the entire press conference talking about hitting the ground running. Well, Devontae Adams will help this offense hit the ground run, understanding how this offense is supposed to work, and his communication skills with the QBs will be the most valuable thing to help this offense get going.
Absolutely, brother. I mean, like when you talk about a guy like Devontae Adams, he's leader on the field. I mean, when he says, "Hey, I'm in the locker room, I'm talking to these guys," his opinion is heavily valued. At the end of the day, when he comes in and he says, "Hey, man, I think we feel more comfortable with this guy or with this guy," I think it's going to come from the top down. And looking at it from Devontae to AP right now, okay? Because, we're going to go into AP right now and what he's looking for in a quarterback, okay? He's looking for consistency. He's looking for a leader, for a guy that Devontae Adams looks at and says, "Hey, man, I'm going to follow you because you're a leader here." And a guy that puts the team in a position to win while not committing turnovers.
At the quarterback position, what do you kind of value more? Low mistakes, a guy that can manage the game, or will you live with some mistakes if there's an upside to make something happen that's not there?
Really want no mistakes at quarterback, right? I don't want to live in that world. I'll go back to my opening statement a couple of days ago, just being consistent. What that guy looks like on and off the field. How does our team respond to him? Does he put us in positions to have an opportunity to win games? And more importantly, we don't need nobody to go out there and be a superhero. They understand that we have a lot of talent around us at the wide receiver position, tight end position, and obviously the running back position. Just, allow your weapons to make the plays. Don't force it. So as it goes on, I'm not going to sit here and say exactly what I'm looking for because that doesn't need to be said to the public. But our guys in the building know what they need to do.
Just don't be a superhero, right? Play within yourself, right? Play within to your best abilities, right? That's even what Luke Getsy's going to do. That's a theme of the offense this year, right? Utilizing people to the best of their abilities, right? Being consistent, getting better one day or 1% one day at a time, right? These things, man, are going to help this team get going, man. And AP, like I said, he is a great coach. He understands consistency is important. He's not being biased, right? Yeah, I feel like this clip shows that he is really going into this QB competition with an open mind, right? We know that Aiden O'Connell has a shot based on what he says because he can take care of the ball. He's more of a stand in the pocket and deliver the ball down the field. Don't take a lot of risks, right? Gardner, though, could fit. He can be consistent if he helps us win, right? Because he can move around, man. So I do like that coach is going to have an open mind, even though it is Aiden O'Connell's job to lose because he was with the team last year, man. I feel like Coach AP is coming with an open mind and looking for the quarterback that is going to help us win and, protect the ball because he wants to score 24 points a game, and we need to keep that defense off the field. And so, look, just come in, be patient, be consistent, and, you're going to play, and may the best man win. I think that's the best approach for this team.
Absolutely. And it's like this, man. I'm like, he's not looking for a superstar. He said, "Hey, man, we have players all over this field that can make big-time plays. What I'm looking for is a guy that's coming out, being consistent, having the ball in our hands and not turning it over in key situations and giving it back, and on third down, making a first down. Both players have the ability to do it. Both players have different, unique abilities. And the best way to explain it is like Jack Jones says here in this coming up video, okay? When you look at it, when you see Aiden O'Connell, you see a Tom Brady type, a guy that sits in the pocket and moves around in the pocket, okay? When you see Gardner Minshew, you see a guy that's like Patrick Mahomes, a guy that extends the plays, takes big shots down the field. Let's see how Jack Jones feels about our two guys at the quarterback position.
Jack, going up against Aiden, in camp, do you see any strides he's been taking, any growth from going up against him in practice last season?
Yeah, I think Aiden is getting more comfortable. You know what I'm saying? I think he's getting more comfortable. I don't know if it's with the playbook, with the receivers, but I just feel like a sense of more comfortability from him. You know what I'm saying? And I think both the quarterbacks need that to be able to sit in the pocket.
What have you seen from Gardner? What have you seen from him on that side?
One thing I like from Gardner is that he uses feet. That's one thing different from Aiden. No knock on Aiden. Aiden want to be more like Tom Brady and what's his name? Minshew want to be more like Patrick Mahomes. So it's two great quarterbacks, but it's just you get two different things. And with this league that we're in, I'm not gonna say you need a mobile quarterback, but a mobile quarterback could extend the play.
So this is from a defensive player's perspective, right? I think that this is a key video to this quarterback competition as far as we're concerned on these broadcasts, man. Defenders have a hard time defending people that can move, or have a hard time defending quarterbacks that can move. That's what's going to hurt you, right? They compared Minshew to Patrick Mahomes. I hate saying that name on this show, but if we could get that kind of play, we have a chance to win Super Bowls. And today's NFL really dictates that, right? Tom Brady was super successful in the NFL. Don't get me wrong. If Aiden O'Connell becomes that type of quarterback, then we're going to win championships too. But I'm just saying the league feels like it dictates a quarterback that can move now. And I think that's what gives Gardner Minshew an edge. And defenses know that. That's what, when you're in man coverage and your back's to the quarterback and he starts running, that's a big chunk of change right there. And so if you're capable of doing that as an offense, they got to switch to zone, right? Which then it's easy pickings for the most part, especially with the talent on our offense. So it just really disrupts the offense it really disrupts the defense having a quarterback that can move. And to me, that's what I want to see for the team, because it's not that I'm Darth Minshew fan or Aiden O'Connell fan. I'm a Raider fan, man. I want what's best for the team. And, I hate bringing up such a polarizing name, but Derek Carr, I'm a huge fan, but he wasn't that mobile quarterback. And yes, he could put up the numbers, right? He destroyed the Raider record book, but we couldn't win games because he couldn't deceive the defense enough with his legs and keep them honest and confuse them. So to me, I just want to see Gardner start, because we do need that mobile quarterback to catch up with the NFL.
So I agree with you to a certain extent. I really think that, like you said, both quarterbacks can be successful. If Aiden O'Connell can really get down into learning how to read a defense, do the timing, just drop back, be Tom Brady, be Peyton Manning, I still think we can get great success, like you said. I look at Gardner Minshew and I see Gardner Minshew's mobility is a great thing. He has a great way of extending plays, but also it's a double-edged sword, okay? Because at the same time that he has a big proponent for making big plays with his feet and extending plays, he also has a big proponent of making big-time turnovers in situations like that, because he tries to make the big play. So I think they're both got their good points, and I can't wait to see what happens. I mean, like, whoever we get, guys, we know we're going to get a quality guy, a guy that's going against the number one defense probably in the league this year. You're probably going to – I want to quote that right here. We will have the number one defense in the league from what it's looking like right now. So you heard it here first on Sideline to Sideline. Raiders defense, number one this year, baby. So, hey, let's get into how Uncle Hondo asking PG, our DC, about how the defense looks fast out there. And PG simply responds by saying, it's not that guys are fast. Everybody's fast out here in the league. is that our defense is locked in and knows what they're doing. They can't wait to add in week 2.
The pace of practice yesterday was noticeable, guys sprinting. For you, obviously the spirit's always been there. The guys are excited to be here, but how happy were you to see the pace of practice yesterday?
When you're playing fast, everybody thinks when coaches say play fast, we're talking about speed, time speed. This NFL, everybody's fast. All right. When you're playing fast, it's because guys know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. So, it was day 1 install. Seemed like guys knew what they were doing. And now it's going to start to compound in terms of day 2, because we're going to do day 2 install, but still have day 1 and be able to use that. So the speed of it, guys being able to play with anticipation, good communication, it all stems from us knowing what to do. And I know that's what AP's harping on this training camp. Know what to do so you can play fast, so you can play with anticipation, so we can improve every day. All right.
You heard him right there. Playing fast isn't just running fast, right? It's understanding the playbook, understanding the situation. That's what, yeah, you're right. I'm with you, brother. We're going to have a number 1 defense this year. And it's because we are coming back together. We have been consistent. We do have chemistry on defense, man. These guys are ready to play. You've heard it, as far as the reports coming out, you've heard them. That the defense is playing well in the red zone. That's what we need, right? We need our offense to play well in the red zone, and we need our defense to make stops in the red zone. Again, it's the NFL. You got to bend, but not break. And so I think our defense is poised, which is going to help our offense win games.
Absolutely, brother. And when you're talking about a fast defense, you're talking about guys that know what they're doing, positions. Hey, man, if we're in this coverage, boom, 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 I know what I'm doing. I'm flying there. I'm anticipating things. I'm already looking at their play and saying, hey, they're in this formation. I got this. This might happen. I'm going to be there to make it happen. That's a beautiful thing to have in week 1. I'm going to tell you guys that. We should be very excited. And the thing is here, man, we got leaders at every position. And now we got Spillane talking about how he hopes to be able to translate the fundamentals, as in the footwork, things like that, to when pad time comes. That's the real time where he's able to unleash the violence. And he talks about how you either got it or you don't.
Next week, when the pads go on, how does that change just the whole complexion of this camp?
Football is football. At the end of the day, physicality is a big part of our game. Right now, we're working footwork and fundamentals, and we want to carry that over into next week. The violence is either in you or it's not. So hopefully we're hitting so hard that coach got to say, yo, we got to chill out. So that's what we're hoping for.
So on the defensive episode, the defensive breakdown episode, I talked about how I expected this defense to be, violent, physical, and it's coming out, right? And this team is level-headed on the defensive side of the ball, man. They know that what matters is, being violent and coming in and being consistent. So I really like what Spillane is doing for this team. Coach Patrick Graham in his interview talked about how Spillane is an extension, right? If we want our defense to play fast, the green dot guy, Robert Spillane, he has to be where he is, thinking about being violent and understanding the playbook, man. All the techniques and all that, he understands as well, but it's about being violent.
You said a key word there, brother. Violence. Bringing the violence, bringing us together, having us work as one unit, and him being the extension of the coach on the field. Another guy that is an extension of the coach on the field, as we know, is our leader and captain on defense, Max Crosby, the Condor.
One of the team leaders, having the team come out here to California, what's the benefits of being out here as a group and you as a team leader getting this thing together and bonded and everything?
Yeah, it's just about being around each other. We have nothing else to do. AP said it very loud and clear. Like, if you don't want to be here, if you got something else more important when you're out here, you just go to Telesco and ask for your release. We're here to get better, get closer, and just focus on improving every day.
I mean, I love that. If you don't want to be here, go ask for your release, and I guarantee you the Raiders will let you go. That's exactly what we need on this team, man. And leaders like Max Crosby understand that, man, and they preach that. And the people that aren't the leaders on the team follow leaders like Max Crosby. So I love the way that this team is heading, man. They had the violence. They had they had the propensity for violence, right? They had the mental the capacity to understand the playbook, man. These players are poised to have a great season, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So, man, Max Crosby, man, great leader. I got to get his jersey. I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely, brother. And you know what? You talked about a crucial thing, knowing your playbook and knowing your playbook in key situations. And you talked about it earlier in the show. We had 2 interceptions by the defense in the red zone. And we got Christian Wilkins talking about how that's crucial right now because it's about the attentions to detail that is going to get us to that next level, baby.
Situational football. You guys came up with 2 interceptions in the red zone. Is it important to, even at this stage of the game, day 2 of training camp, to kind of build those sort of habits?
Absolutely, because the game, it's the more detailed you are, and the more heightened awareness you have, the faster you can play, and understanding situations is a big part of the game. There's so many little intricate parts of this game that probably a lot of you guys don't even understand, but the more detailed you are, the more of a heightened awareness you have, and all those little things, it helps so much. Just like you said, knowing the red zone, knowing it's third and whatever, it's second down, it's this, that, what teams like to do. There's all those little intricacies that go into it that, are important to play well and play fast.
I mean, we've talked about Christian Wilkins being a great leader on these episodes as well, man. And he's showing that he understands the importance of the details, right? And how that helps you play fast. Man, I'm loving the way that this defensive line is coming together. This whole unit, and like I said earlier, don't be worried about the red zone performance, right? The offense is going to score touchdowns in the red zone. Luke Getsy is decent in the red zone as far as play calls, but as much as you need the offense to score in the red zone, you need the defense to stop people in the red zone. And I think this defense is going to be capable of doing it. I'm going to repeat that again. I know I said it earlier, but man, if we can stop offenses in the red zone, we are going to win more games. And that 6-11 record is going to go right down the toilet. And that's what we need as an organization. We need to earn our respect through winning, right? Just win, baby. Al Davis knew that. If you read Al Davis's books or the books on Al Davis, you know that they were against Al, but Al knew that winning would change the tone for the organization overall.
Winning cures everything. Let's just be honest. And guys, right now, from we're seeing, from things that are coming out from training camp, everything like that, what we see here at Sideline to Sideline is a defense that is going to eat people alive. An offense that has a ton load of potential with 2 gunslingers up back there that all they have to do is get the ball to the guys in the key positions and get an offensive coordinator to use guys in a special way to give them the football. And we feel that all those components right now are there for the Raiders. Doug and I talk about it on a consistent basis in the green room. Guys, our offense is ready. Our defense is primed. We are being disrespected by everybody else in the league. But we're going to make a lot of changes this year. And we're going to change a lot of feelings this year because the Raiders, we're coming. And we are about to blow up, baby. So, hey, Raider Nation, you make sure you stay tuned to Sideline because we're going to show you how we blow up this year, baby. And, hey, all 31 other teams, Sideline to Sideline, just let you know, y'all better be ready, baby. And good defense, what that does, Doug, is provide our guys the ability to get the ball back, right? Special teams. We're going to get into special teams, guys, by starting to pay homage to some great returners with the old school rules. And the first guy that we're going to talk about is a great friend of the show, a great friend to our brother, Raider Homer, Douglas Sheffield, the man with the Raider record for the longest kickoff return, Ira Matthews. And Raider Nation, here we got Ira Matthews with a 104-yard return against the Chargers, baby. Raider history. All right, Doug, let's roll it. Here he got the return. He comes out of the end zone. He sets up his block. Makes his first cut. Another cut upfield. Cuts again. Heads towards the end zone. Open field. And he turns on those jets for a Raider tutty, baby. Here we got the all-22 view, guys. You see Ira Matthews cuts back. His first cutback. Sets up his blockers, makes another cutback here. Makes the Chargers look like some pansies. Cuts back one more time. And he turns on the Jets for a 104-yard return for our Raiders, baby.
You know, the Raiders have had great special team players for their entire history, right? And Ira is the record holder for longest kickoff return. And as Will said, he's a friend of the channel. And so shout out to Ira Matthews. Make sure you follow him on social media and check out his interview here on this channel as well. Look, man, the rule change is going to change the game completely, as we're about to get into. So records like this are secure forever. So this, to me, if he wasn't already a Raider legend, solidifies Ira Matthews being a Raider legend from here forever on. From here on, right? This is something that will never be touched again in the NFL. So, Ira Matthews, congratulations. Your record is secured.
Absolutely, man. When you secure a place in a team's record book, you're definitely amongst a guy that did something great for that organization, and you should be considered as one. A guy that made a 104-yard return, guys, that's not an easy thing. And that's why it's in the record books. Ain't nobody going to touch that now. Like Doug said, the rules have changed. Now, let's get into a little bit of a new school guy that has just been recently with tremendous Jets, with a great attitude, Jacoby Ford out of Clemson University, baby. Hey, let's run the one where he goes against the most hated Chiefs. Week 9 in the year 2010, baby. And all right, Raider Nation, here we got Jacoby Ford with special teams, right? Here you're going to see a crucial way that he sets up his blockers in order to execute a great return for a touchdown, okay? So here we go. Let's run it. You see him set up his blockers. You see the wedge. He sees the hole. Bam, he cuts back into the hole, turns on the Jets, and baby, it is so gone, so fast.
Jacoby Ford, arguably the best returner in Raider history. Man, the guy in a couple of years blew up on the scene. It wasn't just kickoff returns, man. He had a great game against the Chiefs as a wide receiver to put us in position to win. You know, this is something that the league will miss. Of course, with the new rules, as we're about to learn, there will be explosive plays. It's just going to look a lot different. And it won't take as long, in my opinion, for these plays to happen from now on.
Doug, you're absolutely right, man. This kid was absolutely gifted. He came out, he was a speedster. People were like, hey, you know what? He's only a one type of guy. But man, when he came out and blew up, he did a lot of great things for us. I remember I was a big-time Jacoby Ford guy because I was like, hey, man, he's making big-time plays in big-time situations for us. And let's get into another play where he makes a big play for us against Miami in Week 12, 2010. And all right, Raider Nation, here we got Jacoby Ford making a great return against Miami by setting up his blocks and making sure that they're in key positions for him to be able to explode upfield. All right, let's run the tape. See Jacoby Ford sets up his block, hits the hole, and turns on the Jets. Gives him a little shimmy, and then explodes down the field for a tutty, baby. Here you got Jacoby Ford, slips a little bit. Here you see him identify the hole and set up his blockers. He cuts back into the hole, accelerates full speed, makes one cut on the punter or on the kicker, gives him the little shimmy shimmy, and he is gone for a Raiders touchdown, baby.
Again, in 2010, there was, towards the end of the season, a nice little run where Jacoby Ford really just put on a show. And as you said, you were a Jacoby Ford fan. Well, so was I, man. That guy was explosive and a true Raider. So again, we'll miss some of these plays, but there'll be players as we're about to find out later on in the episode that might just be as explosive as he is.
Absolutely, man. And I think all the rules are going to make it, like you said, a little bit different. You're going to not get these plays where, you see the wedge set up, you see the guys running into place. Yeah, they're more stagnant. But you're still going to see explosive plays, and a small mistake can definitely lead into a touchdown going down the other way. And, of course, we all know that speed kills, and Jacoby Ford had a ton of speed, baby. So let's get here into week 16 when he burns the Colts for another kickoff return. And all right, Raider Nation, here we got Jacoby Ford coming off with the old kickoff rules where he sets up his great blocking and he's able to go upfield, up the sideline against the Colts. Jacoby Ford returns the ball, sets up his block, hits the hole, accelerates, hits the sideline, and is straight upfield. Guys, this is textbook special teams play for a Raiders touchdown. Here we got another view. You see him accelerate. He sets up his blocks. He comes up the sideline. He explodes past the kicker. There's no angle there. Pure speed, and he's up there for a Raiders touchdown for an old school type.
So 3 of those plays were from 2010. Like I said, not only was he one of the best special teams players, but I mean, he had one of the most explosive years ever as far as kickoff return touchdowns, man. 3 in one season. We've never seen that since, and we didn't see it before. Jacoby Ford, to me, is one of the greatest Raiders of all time, and I'm looking forward to maybe getting him on the show at some point.
Hey, Jacoby, hit us up. We'd love to have you on. We know that you like to come out and do stuff like that. So we'd love to have you on, talk about your experiences as a Raider, and for you to really give us an inside view of what it is to be a returner. Because, guys, it's really a different view. I've done it. I didn't do it to that level. But I'm telling you like this, when guys are flying downfield at you and you got guys going the other way and you're trying to go as fast as you can the other way, it is crazy. And it is an absolute pandemonium and acceleration where Jacoby Ford excelled. And let's get into our last play with Jacoby Ford blowing past the Cleveland Browns in 2011. And all right, Raider Nation, here we got Jacoby Ford setting up his blocks, going old school rules for the kickoff return. So let's get into it. So he gets the kick. He sets up his blocks. He identifies the hole. Guys, that's a huge gap. He accelerates. Then he cuts back to the outside. And then he turns on the jets, uses the balance. Balances down the sideline. Baby for a Raiders tutty. There we got the all-22 view. As you guys can see, he tiptoes down the sideline at full speed, keeping balance, and exploding down the field for Raiders touchdown.
Look at all those owl shirts in the background right there. That was a tough time, but Jacoby Ford was a shining star in that tough time. Kickoff returns is easily one of the most explosive plays that the NFL ever saw, and it was fun to see that play, man. We'll see it in a different way now, but which has me excited to be true. But man, I'm gonna miss some of these old kickoff returns.
You're absolutely right, Doug. I mean, I'm excited for the new rules, but the old way of playing special teams for me was the way that the game was supposed to be played. Okay, when our forebears made rules and stuff like that, I get some of them are for player safety and stuff like that, but that's the way football was meant to be played. The way that, hey, it was just tough, hard-nosed football. But again, guys, we are excited about these new rules. And what we're going to do is get into a little digital action showing you guys how these new rules apply to this game this year, baby.
With the NFL's new kickoff rules, there will be a landing zone between the return team's 1-yard line and their 20-yard line. There will be a setup zone between the return team's 30-yard line and the 35-yard line. 9 players on the return team will set up in the setup zone between the 30 and the 35-yard line. 2 returners will set up in the landing zone between the 1-yard line and the 20-yard line of the return team. 10 players from the kickoff team will line up on the return team's 40-yard line. The ball will be kicked off at the kicking team's 35-yard line. Only the returners and the kicker can move before the ball is touched by a returner or before it lands in the landing zone. Once the ball is touched or lands in the landing zone, the kickoff team can advance. So I hope that was a nice little animation that can make it easy to understand for everyone when it comes to the new kickoff rules. As you can see, it's changed drastically. But as we're about to hear from Tom McMahon, the special teams coach for the Raiders this year, there's a lot to be excited about. And so hopefully, we can come up with some great designs that help us be dynamic and win games, right? We're talking about how the offense can win games and the defense can win games, but it's all 3 phases needed to win games, right? So we'll need special teams, especially in the first year of this rule, to show up and show out and help this team win.
Absolutely, my brother. So you said a key thing. Coach McMahon is looking at how to make adjustments, how to use the rules so the Raiders can take advantage of them and can use them to our advantage. Let's get into Coach McMahon.
You're in a kind of a unique situation as a special teams coordinator. I don't know if there's a comparison to that, but you have to figure out how to advance it as a return team, but then also cover it as a coverage team. So you have to figure both sides out of it. Can that help, from seeing it from one vantage point, help from the other vantage point and vice versa?
There's no question. What we've tried to do is, really this last week with, and even in the first 2 weeks of the off-season program, let Daniel try to beat our returners. And when I say that, he's trying to put balls on the ground or he's trying to put balls in the air. And really, you're just playing in a 20-yard rectangle. So if he can hit the 19-yard line one play and then the 1-yard line the next, you got returners and they don't know where it's going to go. And we can go when the ball hits the ground. So the difference between the XFL and our model is we can go when the ball hits the ground and we're back at the 40. That's your advantage on kickoff. The kicker becomes more valuable also, because now if he can put the ball at the 2 edges of the rectangle, you got a chance to get much, much better. And we've learned a lot from our returners, because our returners all of a sudden are beating him. And then the next day he beats them. So we are finding out where to align these guys to get to the edges of the field, talk coming back to the middle, and so on and so forth.
Man, as you heard, there's a lot that has changed, right? And the landing zone from the 1-yard line to the 20-yard line, like the animation showed, is going to be the key to it all. You're going to want to drop it right around the 15, right? And we're even going to get into some of the angles on the ball, right? Remember, high kicks, hang time mattered, but the whole aspect has changed now. And so it's going to be exciting. And as you can see, our coach is learning from the returners. This is going to be a learning process. There's going to be a lot of mistakes, I would assume, made on special teams this year. But if our team can work together and become consistent on special teams, man, I expect a lot from this, because we do have dynamic players and it's changed. Every team, no team really has an advantage. Every team is on the same playing field now with these new rules.
Absolutely. I mean, they're all trying to figure out how to take advantage of that landing zone. And when you're talking about having guys work that landing zone and do different things, as in, hey, man, he might line drive kick it, and it might be a rolling ball. If it lands within that, if it hits at the 19 and rolls to the 1, and the guy can't pick it up till he gets to the 1, and we're flying downfield, it's an absolute advantage. When you're talking about, using different spots on the field, hey, those guys, there's 2 guys trying to cover about 26 yards apiece. I don't know if you've ever covered 26 yards, but 26 yards is a lot of space to cover, especially with the kicker that's proficient like Daniel Carlson. He has different abilities, man. He has the way that he kicks the ball. I'm sure that he got that drop shot, like a mortar shot. He got the balls that, hey, if you wanted to drop and stay dead, they have all these things in their repertoire. So I'm excited to see what can happen with all these things that he can do. Now, guys, another change is going to be on special teams is that the blockers have to make adjustments and Coach McMahon talks about how the blockers will have to react to the defense and make sure that they're locked in so they don't get no false starts.
Anticipating your blockers reading to understand when they can go because they're going to have their backs to the ball.
To be upfront with you, the blockers are going to have to go when the kickoff cover team. And when I say that, just imagine if you're looking back and I kicked off and you stay looking until he catches it and then you turn, I'm already gone and you're not gonna be able to see me. It's like trying to fight somebody and you're turned this way and they're right here. You're gonna get, probably gonna lose that. So I'm gonna have to go when you guys go. Okay. And you really watch their feet, so on and so forth. And you're like, well, what they could do is they could drop down into a stance, little things to try to get you to false start. So there's some different things going on in the league.
So I believe that this is the main reason that the NFL changed the rules because the blocking is what led to a lot of concussions on special teams. Earlier, Will mentioned that there's not going to be any wedges, man. I remember having to form wedges. It was hard to block guys coming down the field full speed, man. So I think this could be a good thing, and especially if you're taking player health into consideration, right? We don't want to see these players continue to deal with CTE and things like that when you can make changes that would save them, but still be exciting for the game. So we'll see how all this works out, but I think overall it's a good thing for the NFL.
I think when you're talking about injuries, it's definitely going to reduce injuries because you guys got guys going down full speed, trying to absolutely annihilate. I mean, on special teams, if you ever played on special teams, I'd be like, we even had a position called headhunter. Your job was literally to go down there and just nail. That was our job. I remember that in high school when they said, hey, you're on special teams, you're a headhunter. You go down there, your job is to fly downfield and absolutely annihilate whoever comes across your path. So I think that is definitely going to be a big game changer for us, man. Having guys in a close, condensed space, having reduced friction, having reduced speed, it's definitely going to correlate with guys getting less injured. Now, let's get into Coach McMahon clarifying some of the rules for us, like what happens if the ball rolls out of the back of the end zone, comes out to the 30? What happens if the ball rolls into the end zone? We have to down it down, or it's a live ball. So it's a really crazy situation because this is the first time the NFL has ever had a live ball rule.
Just for clarification on the rules, if he kicks it out of the end zone, they get it at the 30.
Yes, sir.
But if it hits the ground and goes through the end zone, it's the 20, correct?
Yes, sir. But you have to down it. That's the other thing that is brand new in this league. It's a live ball. They haven't had a live ball in this league in a long time. So if the ball hits and it stops in the end zone, used to be dead because no one's touched it. You got to go down the ball. The only time a ball is dead is if it goes outside the rectangle. When I say the rectangle, the white lines, out of bounds, okay, or through the end line, then it's dead.
So right there, right? It just because it gets in the end zone doesn't mean that you can just leave it there, man. It changed the game a lot. As you heard, they haven't had a live ball in a long time. So I'm assuming that once that ball is in the end zone and it's live, our kickoff team can recover it for either points or possession. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. And you know what? We got a great kicker in Daniel Carlson, and we're about to hear about how he can be effective in this game. So there's a lot going on with this rule, and hopefully these clips and this animation help you, Raider Nation, to understand it a little bit easier.
Absolutely, man. And I mean, like, again, we're going to need further clarification on rules, understanding how these things work. And I'm sure that there's going to be some debate, and I'm sure that there'll be some plays where all these things will get questioned. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen on special teams this year with all this new creativity. But I'm glad that they're trying to bring the special teams game back to the game. So, guys, Doug brought it up earlier. Using the landing zone and using all that space is crucial. Taking advantage of it as a kicker having advantage of it as a returner are both things that we need to take advantage of. So let's get into how Coach McMahon is talking about ball placement is crucial for our kickers this year.
Just to go back, is the ideal scenario then landing it in the rectangle and rolling it out of the end zone?
There's some scheme there. I think that the biggest thing is from a rectangle standpoint, if I'm a returner, you want me to have to use the whole rectangle to get to the ball. You know what I'm saying? So there's times you could possibly pin him on the 15, which would be better than a 20-yard touchback. But the kicker's got to make this guy play the top 19-yard line to the 1-yard line. You don't want a lot of balls. For example, if I catch a ball at the 10, we just gave him 10 free yards. If we get a ball in our hands at the 15 free yards. Now, if they get it at the 15, but it was rolling and stopped, we just got a head start on them. Okay. So what you're really looking for is the differential between when the ball hits, okay, and when they get it in their hands. How much time did we get down the field before he actually gets it in his hands? Like if you get 1.5 seconds, that's 10 yards. And he hasn't got it in his hands yet. So there's some different things to look at.
So as you can hear, that it's going to make the returners work a lot harder, right? That's what Will was saying earlier. And you're going to want to pin them as much as you can. It kind of reminds me of the punters coffin corner punting, right? If you could land it at the 1, that's where you want. They got to run from the 1 out, and your guys are already advancing. So this is going to be exciting to see. And again, I think that we got the kicker I think that we had the kicker that can handle it. Carlson, as we talked about, is easily becoming one of the best kickers we've ever had. So now that this new rule has changed, you never know, man, just how much more valuable he's going to become, right? Yeah, they even said it at the beginning of the press conference clips. This makes the kicker more valuable. So when you have a great kicker like Carlson and a new rule change, man, we can definitely use this to our advantage.
Brother, you just hit the nail on the head, man. He's like a coffin kicker, a guy that's going to have placement, a guy that's not going to depend on power or boosting it up in the air and getting all that hang time. Now it's all about ball placement. It's all about being, hey, man, can you put the ball there? Can you make it stop? Can you make it not roll? Can you make the ball do what you want it to do when it lands? So that's going to be crucial. And let's get into Uncle Hondo asking Coach McMahon on if Daniel Carlson will have to make any adjustments. But as we know, he already has it in his repertoire, baby.
I apologize. This is going to be an ignorant question, but I'm ignorant. So with Daniel, does he have to change the way he kicks? Because before it was get it up and get it out. Now it's.
Yeah. You're not trying to hit touchbacks. Yeah. There's the hang, just to be cutthroat with you, the hang time doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If he hits a 1 second ball to the 1-yard line, love it. If he hits a 1 second ball to the 19-yard line, love it. If he hits a 1 second ball to the 10 outside the red line and it bounces and goes in. So the faster a ball comes, the quicker these guys got to react. When it's in the air, I got more time to get underneath it.
So in describing it, is it be like a pitcher learning how to pitch a new pitch?
No, because these guys have all this stuff in their repertoire from before. Yeah, you would hit line drives before in certain situations. You would hit, balls to the 1 versus balls that are short, which we used to call mortars. So it's all there. It's just, it's a different gig now, knowing that they're going to return every single one.
So as you heard, it's in his repertoire, right? Carlson is going to be successful in this because not for the most part, but in some aspects, it's similar as far as what a kicker does, right? And so it's funny, he was asked if it's like a pitcher throwing a pitch, right? Well, to me, I would think like a knuckleball is kind of what you want, right? A line drive knuckleball that's coming top over, that's going to bounce and go whichever way and allow your kickoff tacklers or your kickoff team to get to the returner. So, I expect Carlson to be able to change the game with his ability to kick the ball. He's been a great kicker so far, and this is going to be something that he can help with this team as far as winning.
You hit it on the head. Daniel Carlson is a Pro Bowl kicker. Guys, we have nothing to be worried about. We have everything to be excited for, because if this guy comes out and shows what he can really do, man, he's going to put the defense in great positions for us. And he's going to make sure that, hey, you know what? We give our guys the advantage on defense. And all right, guys, let's get into how Jack Jones feels about special teams.
I saw you doing some kickoff drills. How's it been like trying to learn how to do that? Sure, I don't know if it's something you did.
I just go out there. I'm an athlete. In my head, I believe I could do everything, any position. So shit, I just go out there and just do it, and then fall how I fall.
Now, to me, the important thing about this clip is that it shows that Jack Jones is working on kicking off the ball. Now, you might say, well, if you're talking about how Carlson is going to do good with this new kickoff rule, why is Jack Jones kicking off the ball? Well, he's kicking off the ball because think about it. You might need an extra tackler in the fourth quarter, right? If you score that touchdown or get that game-winning field goal, you still have to kick the ball off if there's enough time. So you put the extra defender on the field that can make a tackle instead of a kicker. So it does change this game a whole lot. And I'm excited to see, as we talked about, what our coaching staff is going to do with this new rule. There's a lot that's going to happen, and this, man, it's definitely an exciting time. Imagine Jack Jones or some of the best, defenders that we have helping us seal the deal at the end of the game. How many times were you worried when we kicked the ball off that somebody was going to run by our kicker, right? You saw Jacoby Ford run right past kickers in those plays, right? So that's why you would want an extra defender on that field that can kick the ball and make a tackle.
Man, you just brought another interesting dynamic. You're absolutely correct. By bringing in a guy that can kick and play a skill position, you don't need the guy with the big leg anymore. You don't need the guy that can boost it out of the back of the end zone. Now you need the guy that can get it in between the 20 and the 1. And there might be a bunch of different things, but adding a different defender, adding a guy like that is definitely a game-changing ability. Now, talking about game-changing ability, my brother, let's get into how Dylan Labe is going to fit with the Raiders on third down with his great hands and great feet, great speed, and on special teams with that sneaky quickness, according to Coach AP.
Dylan Labe, he just keeps making plays, just showing up. We talk about him.
Man, that dude's special. I like him, man. He just walks around, kind of that Long Island smile and talk, and he's gritty. You know what I mean? He's a gritty running back. And the one thing about it, he surprises you with his speed. Really good with the ball after catch, even when he's running football. Like, he's going to be a difficult matchup, I would say, because it's already shown up in practice. It'll be better when we get the pads on and get more team competition. But I think he gives you a value of a third down back and some special team value as well.
Dylan Labe, a lot of people have been talking highly about this kid coming out of camp. And Will, I know you've been pounding the table for this kid since we've been working together, man. So I'm glad to see that he's being talked about so well. And you know what? Coming out as a third down back, that's high praise for a rookie, man. And speaking of rookies, we're talking about special teams. Well, this is where most rookies make the team, on special teams. So we're talking about the new kickoff rules and returners. When you have an explosive guy like Dylan Labe in the backfield catching those balls in the landing zone, man, you have potential to make plays and win games. We want the other team to be worried about that final kickoff at the end of the game, and we want Dylan Labe to go ahead and either slam the door closed or get us in position to win the game. So, I'm excited overall, man. This is the last video we have, so I can't wait to get into final thoughts. But, man, there is a lot coming out of training camp to be excited about, man. Special teams is going to change the game entirely this year. We'll see how long it lasts, man. I cannot wait.
Man, when Dylan Labe first came out, I kept saying, man, I'm like, the kid reminds me of a poor man's Christian McCaffrey. Okay? Again, not as refined, not as, skilled, not as fast, but a guy that has all the tools to compete at this level and be great. A guy that can sit here and can sit and learn from guys. And in the future, Raider Nation, stay tuned. Dylan Labe coming to your living room door, baby. Making big time plays for the silver and black, baby. Stay tuned. Now, guys, let's get into our final thoughts. Guys, final thoughts. We talked about, things happening in OTAs, things going the Raider way, guys working together, building the brotherhood, having consistency, doing things together, being one team, one family. They're taking the approach, guys, of, hey, it's us against the world. Raider Nation, you need to lock in. You need to stay tuned in. You need to be with the brotherhood. Make sure you're out there supporting our Raiders, supporting our guys, changing the franchise, staying committed to excellence, going out there and achieving greatness. This is the way it's built. I don't know if you guys have seen AP had guys put their names on bricks. We are building the foundation for the future of Raider greatness today, baby. Ira Matthews, Jacoby Ford, guys like you have paved the way for the new special teams rules to be exciting. We pay homage to you guys because you guys have done it for the silver and black, and we appreciate that. Now, like we said, we are excited to see how these special teams rules are going to change things for our Raiders and make our special teams exciting again this year. My brother Doug, like I keep saying it, man, I'm excited for this year. I can't wait for our Raiders to get out there on the field and prove these namesayers wrong, baby.
Me too, brother. Me too. Now, with all shows, man, there's a tendency to always hype up the Raiders, right? And it could be misconstrued that we're just trying to hype up the Raiders right now, but that's not what it is, Raider Nation. Look, it's about how it looks, how it sounds, how it feels. You've heard that from the players, man. And to me, it's looking right, it's sounding right, and it's feeling right, man. This team is coming together as a brotherhood, man. We haven't seen that in the last couple of years at the very least, right? So for that to happen, that's a step in the right direction, right? For the coaching staff to be preaching consistency, that's a step in the right direction, man. This team is making steps in the right direction. We have young, talented players. We have veterans that are coming in and helping lead this team. We even on the coaching staff, right? We have veteran presence there to help Coach AP, man. The writing is on the wall for success, man. We can achieve and win this year, man. Yes, we're dealing with the QB competition, man. But both QBs have shown to be willing to be a part of the team, willing to lead the team, and capable and able to perform on the field, man. Lots of great things. So don't be worried about the reports of the red zone, the defense dominating in the red zone. We want the defense to dominate in the red zone. Remember, iron sharpens iron, right? If our offense is going up against an elite defense in the red zone, then we're going to be better for it as an offense, man. So keep an open mind, Raider Nation. Keep, your finger on the dial. Keep tuning in. We appreciate y'all. We want to hear y'all comment, guys. Some of y'all are starting to leave comments, and we very much appreciate that. But leave a comment, on as far as what you want to hear from us, what you think, Raider Nation. Do you agree with us? Do you think we're missing something? Let us know. That's what I want to know.
And you know what, Doug? You're absolutely correct. Guys, we're not hyping it up. What I'm telling you guys is what I feel as a coach. When you build a team this way, when you build this brotherhood and you build things like that, guys, sky's the limit for this team. And like Doug said, guys, please click like, subscribe, share, comment. Let us know what you guys are liking. And you know what, Doug? Give me 1 second.
One.
Guys, right here, we got a Raider flag for you guys, all right? Here at Sideline to Sideline. What we want you to message is, hey, if you guys are the first one to comment Sideline to Sideline right below, we're going to mail it to you guys. So we'll ask for your mailing address. We'll have all that. And you guys make sure you guys send us a picture. Let us know that you guys are watching, baby. Hey, Doug, and I'm going to change it a little bit, guys, because right now I feel like this. As the Raiders are doing it, we are one team. one family. It's all about the Raiders. Let's go.